Namaskar students, welcome back to my another lecture. So in this lecture we will be discussing on the application of transistor. For example, transistor as an amplifier. When I will be discussing transistor as an amplifier, then we will again learn a new topic which was remaining when we were learning the transistor biasing. So that is load line. In load line, we have learned till now DC load line, and we have determined the Q point on output characteristics of the particular transistor. So in this particular topic, when I will explain transistor as an amplifier, then I will explain another type of load line that is called as a AC load line. So as we have till now learned in previous lectures, so we can use transistor as an amplifier, but in order to use transistor as an amplifier, our Q point of the transistor must be determined, and Q point should be exactly lie somewhere between the active region of the transistor. That means active region of the transistor, as I discussed, base emitter junction should be forward bias and base collector junction should be reverse bias. And if we once we know the Q point of which is lying in the active region of transistor, then what is the position of Q point that we must know. Then we have calculated, we have learned how to calculate, how to find out Q point of a given particular transistor. And this Q point should not change by changing the value of beta if we are using common emitter transistor. And again, this Q point should not change if there is change in collector currents, means if there is change in the temperature. That is what till now we have learned. Then in order to stabilize the transistor, we need transistor biasing. So that is why in my previous couple of lectures, I have discussed different type of transistor biasing, starting from the fixed bias configuration. In fixed bias configuration, if we do not use RE, that is emitter resistance, that is called as a fixed bias, a base bias configuration. And if we use emitter resistance at the emitter terminal, so that is called as a emitter bias configuration. Then I discuss voltage divider configuration, then collector feedback, emitter feedback, then common base configuration. So I have discussed and covered nearly all transistor biasing. In all transistor biasing techniques, I have discussed the DC, how to draw DC load line, and how one can find out the operating point or Q point of that particular transistor. So now we are in the situation where we can discuss possible application of transistor as an amplifier. So let us start. So if we see the transistor, so here I have taken a simple common example of common emitter transistor. So here we have a common emitter transistor. So when we will not apply any AC signal, that is what I am calling input AC signal, that is what I have written no signal. When we are not applying any input AC signal for the amplification and only DC battery are used, DC power supply are used just to configure, just to bias the transistor in such a way that this base emitter junction and this base collector junction, this base emitter junction will be in forward bias and base collector junction should be in reverse bias. Then this situation is basically called as a transistor biasing, what we have learned. And here we have not applied any signal, that is no signal condition. So right now this transistor is not used as an amplifier, but this transistor can be used as an amplifier if we are known to the Q point of the transistor and the applied input AC signal should be in such a way that this input signal is amplified and we get amplified output. So if we apply an AC signal apart from the biased power supply, that is plus VBB and this plus VCC, apart from these two power supply, if we are using an input AC signal at the input terminal, then this transistor is basically used as an amplifier. We can call this transistor is an amplifier. So when we are using transistor as an amplifier, so always there should be some point which must be noted down. First of all, when we are not using transistor as an amplifier, means when we have not applied any signal, means there when there is no signal, only DC power supply is there, then corresponding to this DC power supply there is a input current, that is there is a base current that we have denoted, that is capital I capital B, and corresponding to that input current we have a collector current, that is capital I capital C, and then we have a voltage drop, that is capital V capital B E capital C, a capital V capital C E, collector emitter voltage drop, base emitter voltage drop, and similarly base collector voltage drop. So when there is no signal, remember whatever notations we have used, all letters are in capital, that is capital I capital B capital V capital B E capital V capital C E capital V capital B C capital I capital C capital V capital B B capital V capital C C. But when we apply an input AC signal, that is what I will call instantaneous signal, then this AC input signal will be superimposed on, that is what called zero signal. When there was no signal, then current was whatever current was flowing. When there is signal, then whatever current is flowing. So when there was no signal, so that we will call zero signal. Okay. So this instantaneous applied input current will be superimposed on zero signal input current. So that then we will give a new notation, that is small I capital B. So small I capital B means that is total current, and small I small b, that is current, that is purely AC signal, that is instantaneous signal. In capital I capital B, that is purely DC signal, that is what I'm giving name, that is zero signal input current. So corresponding to this small I capital B, there will be a collector current. Again, obviously this collector current will be the again superimposition of zero signal collector current plus instantaneous collector current. Then the corresponding voltage drop across base emitter junction and across collector emitter junction and across base collector junction. Their notations will also change. So here we will call small v capital BE, that is base emitter junction voltage drop, and similarly collector emitter voltage drop will be called as small v capital CE, and similarly base collector junction voltage drop will be called as a small v capital BC. So these notations things I will give informations in a table in maybe coming next slide. So if you now regard, if your transistor is properly biased and DC point is known, then when you apply this input AC signal, then you get a amplified output collector current. And remember, if you see this AC signal, so this AC signal, input AC signal is magnitude and direction is changing with time. So for the first half cycle, it is positive, and negative half cycle is negative. So we have to ensure that before applying this input AC signal, we have to ensure that when transistor is in positive half cycle, no problem, it will work as an amplified signal. We'll get small I capital B will be obviously equal to small I small b plus capital I capital B. And when transistor will be in negative half cycle, then obviously we have to ensure that this base emitter junction should be in forward bias. So when polarity will reverse the input signal, then this junction should remain in forward bias. That means we have to choose the magnitude of current in such a way that the magnitude of voltage in such a way that that should not change the polarity of the base emitter junction. If it is so, so that is basically in order to ensure that we have did the transistor biasing. So that is why when we do the transistor biasing before applying any input signal, and we determine the Q point, and as I discussed, Q point should be nearly at the middle of the DC load line. Then you apply input AC signal and then you get a amplified signal. So here you see, so this capital I capital C, when there was no signal, when there is no input AC signal, then this capital I capital C current was flowing. This capital I capital C was flowing because of the capital I capital B when there was no signal. When we have applied AC signal, instantaneous signal at the input, then this instantaneous signal, if you see small I, small c, this is superimposed on zero signal collector current. So this is giving the total collector current, and this is what we are calling that is amplified signal. So amplified signal will be equal to small I capital C. So now the magnitude of total collector current that is changed. So initially when there was no signal, the output current was capital I capital C. Let us say this is some, and it was independent of time. It was constant. That was purely DC signal. That is zero signal collector current. And when we applied input AC signal, so you see this small c that is added in capital I capital C. So that is small I small c is superimposed on capital I capital C. So that is giving the small I capital C. So you see this is the amplified. So we are getting the amplified signal that is small I capital C is equal to capital I capital C plus small I small c. So we are getting the amplified signal. So we are getting the output, and whatever output signal we are getting, that is amplified signal. Okay, so this particular type of application is called as a transistor as an amplifier. So but it is not as easy as it looks like to use transistor as an amplifier. So before using transistor as an amplifier, we must try to the DC load line, okay, and try to locate the Q point corresponding to the output characteristics of that particular transistor. So let us say this is common emitter transistor. So we know that output characteristics of common emitter transistor. So that is, we plot the graph between collector emitter voltage to the collector current. But here when we apply input AC signal, then this collector emitter voltage and base emitter voltage and this collector current notation is changed. So here I have given the notations. So let us say emitter current, collector current, base current, collector emitter voltage, base emitter voltage, emitter base voltage. So this is the instantaneous AC signal. So in instantaneous AC signal, all the notations are small letter, whether it is main letter or subscript. Okay. So that is small I, small I, small e, small I, small c, small I, small b, small v, small ce, small v, small eb. And similarly, the DC signal, when there was no signal, then that whatever current and voltage drop were there, so that was purely DC signal. That is, both are in capital letter, is capital I, capital E, capital I, capital C, capital I, capital B, capital V, capital C E, capital V, capital E B. Okay, so the when we are superimposing as an when we are applying input AC signal, then the transistor is basically called as an, we are using transistor as an amplifier. Then the total signal will be denoted as small I capital E, small I capital C, small I capital B, small v capital CE, small v capital EB. So if you draw the output characteristics curve when we are using transistor as an amplifier, and then we draw the load line. So that load line is called as an AC load line, as I have introduced in my one of the lecture. So because here we have applied an AC signal, when there was no AC signal, at that time when we draw the load line, and that load line was called as a DC load line, and here now we are applying an input AC signal. If you draw the load line and then you draw the straight line, then that is called as a AC load line. Okay. So, but in order to use transistor as an amplifier, it is sufficient to draw the DC load line and try to find out the Q point. When you draw the DC load line and try to find Q point, then your Q point should be chosen in such a way that whatever output you are getting, so this is basically output current, small I capital C, this is output collector current when transistor we are using as an amplifier, this is output voltage, that is small v capital CE. Okay, so this magnitude of base current, magnitude of input current should be such that Q point should be such that the output should not be distorted. So it will give only undistorted output when Q point will be exactly middle of the DC load line. Okay, so this is how I have shown. Let us say this is input current. So that is for a given input DC. This is for the output characteristics for the DC signal. This is base current IB1, IB2, IB3. This is zero signal base current, and this is the actual applied AC signal which we want to amplify. Okay, and this Q point is chosen. Basically, this is Q1, Q prime, Q double prime, and Q. There are three Q points, and out of these three Q points, if you are choosing Q as a Q point, then your output is basically sweeping from Q prime to Q double prime. Then we are not getting any distorted output. So this is the basic idea how one can use transistor as an amplifier. So I will try to show you some of the numerical examples. Okay, so let us try to see example 1. Calculate the value of small v capital CE in the circuit if AC signal voltage is sinusoidal with a peak value of 0.01 volt. Take voltage gain AV, and remember, when we are using transistor as an amplifier, so there will be term current gain, voltage gain, input impedance, output admittance, as I have introduced in terms of when signal was purely DC. But the definition will change. Here, voltage gain is denoted as capital A into V for when we are using transistor as an amplifier, AV, and here definition is basically output voltage upon input voltage. So here output voltage what we are applying, we are applying output voltage, that is AC signal. So output voltage of AC signal divided by output voltage of AC input of AC voltage. So that is V out upon V in. Okay. Similarly, current gain will be equal to that is denoted as AI or beta AC, or sometimes if it is common emitter transistor, so we call HFE. Okay, AI, HFE or beta AC, all are the same current gain. So that is output current upon input current. So remember, these currents are instantaneous signals. Small I, small c divided by capital I, small I, small b. But in case of beta DC, if you remember, we have denoted capital I, capital C, capital I, capital B. So that is the difference here. So here in this numerical, it is given the voltage gain. Take voltage gain AV. That means V out upon V in corresponding to the AC signal. Okay. V out upon V in corresponding to the instantaneous signal. Though ratio of both that is given 100, and beta AC obviously, or beta, so sorry, it is not written beta AC or beta DC, simply beta is given. So that means that is beta is 100, that is beta DC, and depict the waveform of the output voltage separately. So we have to calculate this collector emitter voltage, and we have to show the waveform, output waveform. So this is circuit diagram. So if you see the circuit diagram, this is common emitter transistor, and I think this is a base bias or a fixed bias configuration. So here we have an input AC signal, that is VBE, purely AC signal, base emitter voltage we have applied, instantaneous AC signal. Then there is a capacitor, which will allow only AC signal. It will try to not allow purely DC signal which are contained in the AC part. So it cannot change the DC. It should not change the Q point of the transistor. Okay, and this is the transistor is properly biased with 20 volt power supply. 200 ohm base resistance is there. 1 ohm is the collector resistance is there. Beta is 100, and AV, that is voltage gain, that is 100 is given. Okay. So if you do the DC analysis of this transistor, okay, so we know that we have to first calculate the base current. If you do the DC analysis, so we know in transistor biasing technique, I have explained you how to calculate the zero signal base current or purely DC signal base current corresponding to the DC signal, that is capital I, capital B. Capital I, capital B will be equal to, that is plus VCC minus VBE divided by RB. So capital I, capital B will be equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RB. And here if you see, this VCC is equal to 20 volt and VBE, that is 0.7 volt. So we can approximate that this VCC minus VBE is approximately equal to VCC. So VCC upon RB. Okay, this VBE can be neglected because that is 0.7 volt is much less than 20 volt, just in order to simplify the calculation. That is why otherwise one can choose the VBE is equal to 0.7 volt. Okay. So if we solve it, so IB is equal to 20 upon 200, that is 0.1 ampere. Okay. So this means this is the base current when there was no input AC signal was applied. When this signal was not applied, at that time base current is 0.1 ampere, or we can write 100 microampere. Okay. So corresponding to this base current, okay, we can calculate the how much collector current is flowing. That is what we will call, that is zero signal collector current. Okay. So zero signal collector current is equal to, that is capital I, capital C is equal to beta into capital I, capital B, that is 100 into 0.1, that is 10 ampere. Okay. So that means zero signal collector current is equal to 10 ampere. So this is basically one of the Q point. As I discuss, this is the Q point, and corresponding to this Q point, we can find out the collector emitter voltage drop, that is this voltage drop. So by applying the Kirchhoff voltage line output law, I have solved several numerical problems based on this fixed bias configuration. Those who have doubt, please go through my previous lectures. So VCE capital, remember this is capital, all are in capital, that means we are calculating the DC part only. So capital V capital C E is equal to capital V capital CC minus capital I capital C into capital R capital C. So this will give 20 volt minus, that is 10 into 1. So if you calculate, that is capital V capital C is equal to 20 minus 10, that is 10 volt. So this is another Q point of the transistor. So Q point of the transistor, one is 10 volt and another is 10 ampere. So this is capital I capital C is 10 ampere, capital V capital CE, that is 10 volt. Okay. Now it is asked to calculate small v capital CE. So small e, small e capital CE. That means what will be the voltage drop, the output voltage, when we have applied input AC signal. Okay, that is asked. So if you do the AC analysis, so we know that as I have defined, voltage gain AV is equal to V out upon V in. So here small v AV, small v, small CE, that is collector emitter voltage drop. Okay, that is collector emitter voltage drop when purely AC signal was applied. That can be written as a voltage gain multiplied by the, this is output voltage into the input voltage. Okay, so AB will be equal to output voltage upon input signal when purely AC signal was applied. Okay, so that means this V out will be defined as a small v small ce divided by small v into small be. Small vce, small v, small be. So that is AB. So we can find out small vce. Small vce is equal to AB into small vb. This is input voltage and this is output voltage. So output voltage can be determined. The output voltage will be equal to this quantity minus this quantity, that is AB into Vin. AB is equal to given, that is 0.01 volt. Okay, and VB small v VE, that is, I think it is given. So small VB is given, that is it will calculate the value of small v capital C in the circuit if AC signal voltage is sinusoidal with a peak value of 0.01 volt. That means input signal is given whose peak value is, that is 0.01 volt. That means the value of this small v small ve, that is 0.01. So this small v small ce will be equal to 100 multiplied by 0.01, that is 10 volt. So this value, that is collector emitter voltage drop due to purely instantaneous signal, due to purely AC signal, that is 10 volt. So total signal, as I discuss here, small v capital CE will be equal to this signal plus this signal. So if you do that, so small v capital C is equal to capital V capital CE plus small v small ce, that is 10 volt. So this is basically 10 volt AC and this is basically 10 volt DC. So 10 volt AC plus 10 volt DC. So this is capital small v capital C. So this is output. Now if you draw the waveform, so this is capital V capital CE versus T. We know this is purely DC signal, so there is 10 volt purely DC. And if you draw this purely AC signal, this, that is what we have obtained, that is small v capital small v small ce. So that is purely AC signal with time. So that is changing, that is 10 volt. And now when we superimpose, if you draw this output, so that is this will superimpose on DC 10 volt DC with 10 volt AC. So that is 10 volt and 10 volt. So maximum 10 volt is again going. So this is 10 volt. So this 10 volt up and 10 volt down. That means here you get a complete waveform of amplified signal at the output. So this is one example of transistor as an amplifier. Let us try to see another numerical example when transistor is used as an amplifier. So find small v capital CE in the circuit and sketch its waveform. Take voltage gain AB is equal to 100 and beta is equal to 100 and peak input signal that is 0.05 volt. Here peak input voltage was 0.01 volt. Now here in this problem I have taken peak input voltage that is 0.05 volt. Okay. So in this problem I will show you how this changing the peak value of input AC signal. If you change, how the output waveform will change. Okay, the problem remains same. Only I have changed this magnitude of input signal volt, the peak value of input signal, that is it now changed 0.01 to 0.05. That I have just increased the number. Okay. Now if you calculate, calculation will be same. So for DC analysis, IB will be equal to 0.1 ampere as it is reflected in previous problem also. So in problem 1, this was 0.1 ampere. So in this problem also 0.1 ampere, and corresponding to this zero signal base current, we have zero signal collector current, capital I capital C, that is 10 ampere. Okay, and corresponding to this 10 ampere collector current, zero signal collector current, we have a capital V capital C, that is 10. If you calculate here, so that should be, yeah, here another change is there. Here we have changed the collector resistance. So in previous problem we have chosen 1 ohm collector resistance. In this problem we have chosen 2 ohm collector resistance. So now if you calculate capital V capital CE, then this 20 volt minus 10 ampere into 20, that is 10 ampere multiplied by 2, that is 20, 22, that is 20, and 20 minus 20, that is 0. So capital V capital C is equal to 0. That means collector emitter voltage drop is equal to 0. That means what? We have come to know from our understanding that when we were drawing the DC load line, when collector emitter voltage was 0, that was the one end point of the DC load line. In this situation is basically called as a transistor is in saturation region. That means at present time this transistor is in saturation region. Okay. Obviously, if transistor is in saturation region, if we apply any AC signal, so it will give distorted output. And in the previous problem, here if you see, that is 10 ampere collector current and 10 volt VC. Here VC we have not, it is not 0, but the end point of the transistor, if you see end point of the DC load line, this is cut off, that is 20 volt cut off and 20 ampere current, and the Q point is 10 ampere and 10 volt. That means exactly middle of the DC load line. So that is why here we get a complete without any distortion output. But in this problem, if you see here, your cutoff point is 20 volt and another cutoff point is 20 divided by 2, that is 10 ampere. So here we are getting collector current is 10 ampere, but your another cutoff point, saturation collector current is 10 ampere and actual collector current that is 10 ampere, that is Q point. And your cutoff point is 20 volt, but actual collector emitter voltage we are getting 0 volt. Okay, that means transistor is in saturation region. Now let us try to check if transistor is in saturation region, so how output will be appeared when we apply input AC signal of this peak voltage. So that is why what I have written, this means the transistor is in biased in saturation region. So we are given with the voltage gain, that is AB is equal to 100. So collector emitter voltage drop corresponding to the purely AC signal, that will be equal to voltage gain multiplied by the input AC signal. So V small ce is equal to 100 multiplied by 0.05 volt. So that is 5 volt. So small v small c is equal to 5 volt. Okay. Now if you draw the output waveform, okay, so corresponding to the purely DC signal, output voltage, capital V, capital C, and time. So that is at 0. Obviously, this is 0. So at 0, Vc is equal to 0. And purely AC if you draw, that is small v, small c, that is 5 volt. So obviously, this is plus 5, minus 5, and this is time. So this is 5 volt. And now, if you superimpose both small v, capital CE, okay. So this 5 volt plus 0 volt. And on this, so during positive half cycle, you will get a positive output, and during negative half cycle, because transistor is in saturation, so you will not get an output. Okay. So during positive half cycle, the signal of the transistor comes out of saturation, and during negative half cycle, transistor further driven into the saturation, so you will not get an output. So you are getting now a distorted output. So this is important to understand when you are biasing your transistor. And when I discuss the Q point, so I as I have explained earlier in my lectures, Q points basically depend upon the three parameter VCC, RB, and RC. Okay. So here if you see, I have just changed the RC. So your Q point changed in the same problem. And when Q point is changed, so how your output is distorted. And I have just changed the magnitude of the input signal. This is second example. So this is how you can use as when you are using transistor as an amplifier. So how you have to be aware of determining your Q point, and you must know the DC signals, and you must ensure that whether transistor is in saturation, cutoff, or linear region. In order to use transistor as an amplifier, you should get output without distorted when your transistor will be in linear region. Means when you are working in a